come from a family of 8. It was 10 of us in the house. Wow. And so there was a lot of loud voices and screaming for someone to come, you know, not offensive. That's just what we did, right? One day he was like, you might want to kind of check the way you talk to everybody. And I was like, oh, really? Like you, and I didn't realize that it was offensive to everyone in the house. Like, it's just what I did because that's how I grew up, right? So I had to check myself on that and work on it.
Okay, Bill and Pam, tone of voice, some good stuff there. We're back in the kitchen, Mike and Diane and Eric and Kara. And it was surprising to hear Bill say that the tone of voice actually can cause more problems or more joy in a relationship than anything else.
Okay, so we know this firsthand because you know how you marry opposites and we're different, and I tend to be more animated and more excited when we're talking, and he's more subdued and more calm. And so if he doesn't kind of rise with me, I go higher in my tone of voice, and I get more excited, and I'm trying to get my point across, and then all of a sudden,
and then sometimes I'll go.
He just kind of lowers his hand.
And so that's me saying, okay, the tone is a little intense there. Maybe let's bring it down. Let's have a conversation here.
Because all he's hearing is my tone of voice. He's not hearing what I'm saying. And my tone of voice is almost overpowering him. And so I just have to dial it back. And I had to learn early not to get offended when he did this. It's like, excuse me.
Don't do that to me now.
I'm talking, you know. No, it's okay. I understand, honey. What you're trying to say to me is, you know, you're hearing more than my words, and it's not working. So
I could relate to what Pam was saying, coming from a larger family and everybody screaming and yelling all the time, because I come from a family of 8. It was 10 of us in the house. Wow. And so there was a lot of loud voices and screaming for someone to come, you know, not offensive. That's just what we did, right? And so when we got married and started having kids, and I would always scream, Raven, Rachel, come here for it. Like, I didn't think it was anything wrong with that. Or I'd do it to him. One day he was like, you might want to kind of check the way you talk to everybody. And I was like, oh, really? Like you, and I didn't realize that it was offensive to everyone in the house. Like, it's just what I did because that's how I grew up, right? So I had to check myself on that and work on it.
So, and it's really important to me. I'm a little bit sensitive that way because I think that the best way is not to call out, right? It's actually to go to you and to speak to you, right? If I've got a question for you, you don't need to run and answer my call, right? I need to come to you to present my question. I had the opposite challenge though. I can be so quiet sometimes that she can't hear me, but I have the opposite, you know, that challenge of when we're conversating, I can get the football voice, right?
Like
I can get that, you know, when you're a leader, you know, you're leader on the team, and I don't even realize it. You know, you kind of, as Pam was saying, I kind of go into this mode and I'm talking and
you're trying to fire
so
up
I had
the
to learn.
intensity.
That's right.
Hustle, let's go, hustle.
Yes.
How was you, Ron? I was like,
yes. So I was doing the same thing in a different way. Yeah.
bring it down. Yeah, it's so funny.
And with Eric and I, so Eric is a foot taller than me, and so sometimes I have to watch my tone because if I'm trying to talk to him, because of that foot, he might not even hear me. So then I'm like,
she's talking straight, and I'm up here.
yeah.
And so just to explain, you're 6'8".
I am.
And Kara, you're 5'8".
Wow.
And so you're both
So we're
tall,
not
but that
short
makes a big
people.
difference.
No, absolutely.
Wow.
So then when I'm trying to talk to him, I have to watch my tone that way because I'm not mad at him. I'm just trying to get his attention.
Trying to get her voice to my ear. And then when I finally like look down and like I'm just she's like, why are you yelling at me? I've actually been trying to talk to you this whole time. I'm like, I'm sorry.
So
Well,
funny.
the last teaching segment about the body language, then I guess sometimes
That
maybe
would
Eric just
be-
needs to sit down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sometimes we have to have, when we have conversations, we have to either be sitting on the same couch or we're driving because then we're at the same level. So that way our tone of voice can be
Or just
softer.
put step stools in random rooms of the house.
I'll just stand on the stairs
just
every
go up
time
there
we
and
have
start
conversations.
Yes,
Yeah. I
darling.
see you, babe.
First try.
I don't know
And
about
then
that.
the idea of softness, you know, kind of communicates sincerity. And so sometimes that, you know, if you really want to get something across,
Yeah.
you think, well, I got to speak it loudly then. No, I guess softness actually has a better
I think
connection.
in general, don't we all respond better to softness anyway? Like that's going to get my attention. If you come up to me and say, "Honey, I want to talk to you about something," I'm there. But if you're yelling across the room, "Honey, I need to talk to you about something," it's like, okay, in a few minutes, let me finish this up or whatever. Because I'm not really drawn to that kind. But the softness draws you together.
And I find that our environment too makes a factor.
Timing.
So like, say we're driving in the car and there's like stop and go traffic. Well, if I try and have a conversation with Eric, I know that's his pet peeve.
Yeah, that's one
So
of my
his
biggest pet
tone
peeves.
might not be where I want it to be when having a conversation. Or if kids are yelling at us, like in the background, and we're like, okay, well, we're trying to have a conversation. You may be more irritable, or your tone may not be where
Because
you
you
want
both
it
work
to be.
with kids at church all the
Yeah.
time, and so that's not the place
Right.
to have that
so
kind of
timing
conversation.
and environment.
Yeah.
I think the case with both body language and tone is that there are soft skills, and it's kind of hard to, it seems like some people just have it, right? It's almost like a great athlete. Gretzky just got it, right? No, actually it was because he skated every night. His dad had in his backyard, he had a rink in his backyard. Michael Jordan got up at 6 o'clock every morning because he got cut from his high school basketball team. And so it's actually that effort. So it's something we need to know that we can get better at, right?
Absolutely. And to know what to pull away from your tone of voice, like nagging. Like girls, it's easy to slip into that mode, but we got to stop doing that and say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sound that way.
It has the opposite effect of what
Exactly.
you're trying to do, actually,
Yeah.
if you nag a guy.
Absolutely.
And it has to be a safe place to just bring up, the fact that, honey, I think, if we just kind of tone down a bit and need to be, have that conversation sometimes too.
Yeah, and not attack because this is a sensitive issue.
You want to become a better us.
That's
why.
I think it's pretty cool how you have all the different 4 years, 30-something years, 26 years, but we're all talking about and can relate to the same things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, we deal with it every day.
It's an everyday thing that you have to work on. It's marriage. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. And stay with us, and we'll be back with some closing thoughts.
All right.